Hi, in this video, we are going to look at a few complex number questions for JEE Advanced. So we start off with this problem. Find the perimeter of the triangle whose vertices are the roots of this equation. Z plus alpha beta whole cube is equal to alpha cube. Here alpha and beta are some given complex numbers. So what we should do here is think about this equation and try to understand what kind of complex number this represents. So this is like you're trying to take cube roots of alpha cube. So you can say that z plus alpha beta whole cube is equal to alpha cube if we substitute capital Z for z plus alpha beta. Then we have an equation like this: z cube is equal to alpha cube, right? Now the roots of this equation will be z will be alpha e power I 2 pi by 3 and alpha e power I 4 pi by 3, because these are the cube roots of alpha cube, right? This comes from the theory of cube roots of unity, because we can take this as alpha cube times 1 cube, right? You can check it out. When you cube these numbers, you will end up getting alpha cube in all three cases, right? So if z is this, the small z, which was our original variable, would be small z is equal to minus alpha beta plus alpha, and small z can be minus alpha beta plus alpha e power I 2 pi by 3, and small z could be minus alpha beta plus alpha e power I 4 pi by 3. Now, this actually represents a circle with center 0, 0 and radius mod of alpha. So actually, all of these points lie on a circle with center. The complex number minus alpha beta is your center, right? And radius is mod of alpha. So because the cube roots of unity form an equilateral triangle on the circle, so that is what we have here. The only difference is that the circle is not centered at 0, 0, and center is minus alpha beta, and the radius of the circle is not 1, but it is mod of alpha, right? So it is very easy to find the perimeter of an equilateral triangle. All you have to do is to understand what kind of a situation this is. We have this equilateral triangle minus z plus alpha. This is minus alpha beta plus alpha. This is minus alpha beta plus alpha e power I 2 pi by 3. And this is minus alpha beta plus e power I 4 pi by 3. You can verify very easily that the side lengths of this triangle are all equal. You should check that out yourself. This is an equilateral triangle. Now, if I want to find the perimeter of this triangle, I need to know one side. So I know that the radius of the circumcircle is r, and that r is equal to mod of alpha. And since circumcenter and centroid are all the same points for an equilateral triangle, this angle is 30 degree. And I can say that r cos 30 degree is this much. So the whole side would be 2r cos 30 degree. That will be the length of the side. So that is equal to root 3 times r. So the length of the side A is root 3 times mod of alpha, and therefore perimeter of this triangle would be 3 root 3 times mod of alpha, which is the answer for this question. The point is to understand how you take cube roots of a complex number. So we saw that the cube roots of this are alpha e power I 2 pi by 3 and alpha e power I 4 pi by 3. And you should realize that these 3 points lie on an equilateral triangle inscribed inside the circumcircle of the triangle, right? Let's move on to the next question. This says, if a point Z1 to point P given by complex number Z1 lying on the curve mod z equals 2, point P, which has complex number z1, lies on the curve mod z is equal to 2, and from P, a pair of tangents to mod z equal to 1 are drawn, which meet the circle at Q, which is known as Z2, and R, which is known as Z3. Then we have to check the following options. 4 by Z1 plus 1 by Z2 plus 1 by Z3 multiplied by 4 by Z2 Z1 conjugate plus 1 by Z2 conjugate plus 1 by Z3 conjugate is equal to 9. The second option is argument of Z2 by Z3 mod is equal to 2 pi by 3. The third option is Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 by 3 lies on the curve mod Z equals 1. And finally, last option is Z1 by 2 lies on the curve mod Z equals 1. So given this information, we have to check all of these options. And this could be a multiple correct question. So more than one option could be correct. So let's analyze what is happening. We'll draw a rough figure and think about it. So on the Argand plane, I will draw a circle of radius 2. We know that the point P lies on this circle. And there is a circle of radius 1 also. So let's say point P lies here. P is Z1, lies here. This is a circle of radius 2. And this is a circle of radius 1. And from here we draw two tangents. P, from P we have drawn two tangents. This is Q, this is R. And Q is Z2 and R is Z3. Right? Center of the circle is here. So this is a perpendicular and this is also a perpendicular. Right? And the radius here is 1, this radius is 1. Right? And we know that OP, the distance OP is obviously 2. Because OP is the radius of the bigger circle, OQ and OR are the radius of the smaller circles. And we know these are 90 degrees. So by basic trigonometry in triangle OPQ, we can say that the angle here, sine theta is perpendicular by hypotenuse, which is equal to 1 over 2, which implies theta is equal to pi by 6. Right? And if theta is pi by 6, we can easily say that this theta is also pi by 6. So the triangles are congruent. Triangle OPQ and triangle OPR are congruent. Obviously, because they have a common side OP and they have two angles which are same, 90 degree and theta. So that means they are similar, plus they have a common side, so they are congruent, right? So if the triangles are congruent, we know that this angle theta is 30 degree, this angle is 60 degree, and this angle must also be 60 degree. So obviously now we can say argument of Z2 minus 0 by Z3 minus 0 is the same as angle QOR, and that is equal to 120 degree. So we get argument of Z2 by Z3 is equal to 2 pi by 3. So that confirms for us option B. Option B is correct, right? Now let's think of more geometry here. What we can say is that the centroid of triangle PQR, centroid of triangle PQR is the same as the circumcenter. Because triangle PQR is equilateral. How do we know triangle PQR is equilateral triangle? Because I already know that PQ is equal to PR, and I also know that angle QPR is equal to 60 degrees. So that will ensure, we found that theta is 30, so angle QPR is twice of 30, so 60, and PQ is equal to PR. So the other angles are also equal. Angle PQR is equal to angle PRQ, which is also must be 60. So centroid of triangle PQR is the same as the circumcenter of triangle PQR. So that means circumcenter of triangle PQR must be equal to Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 by 3, right? Okay. So what we can also say that circumcenter of triangle PQR will lie on the side OP. So that circumcenter is the same as the circumcenter of triangle OPQ. Why? Because think about circumcenter of triangle OPQ. What is that point? That point is a point that is equidistant from Q, P, and O, right? So that point is equidistant from Q, P, and O, and the distance of QP, basically it's the midpoint of the hypotenuse of this triangle. Triangle QPO is a right angle triangle, and the circumcenter must be the midpoint of the hypotenuse. So that will be basically Z1 plus 0 by 2. So Z1 by 2 is my circumcenter of triangle OPQ, and that circumcircle should pass through. Basically, that circumcircle has OP as the diameter. If you draw a circumcircle, OP is the diameter. So it is also passing through R because the angle ORP is also 90 degrees. So what I'm saying is triangle PQR, the triangle PQR circumcircle is the same as the triangle OPQ and OPR circumcircle. And the circumcenter is Z1 by 2, which is the same as Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 by 3, right? And since Z1 by 2 is the circumcenter, what is the circumradius of triangle OPQ? If you think about it, circumradius of triangle OPQ, the R for this is the distance of Z1 by 2 from the center, right? It will be mod of Z1 by 2, which is mod Z1 by 2, and mod Z1 is equal to 2, so this is 1. So the capital R for this triangle is 1. So mod Z1 by 2 basically has to lie on the inner circle. Z1 by 2 lies on mod Z equals 1. Because the circumcenter of a right angle triangle is at the midpoint of its hypotenuse. So the midpoint of the hypotenuse lies on the inner circle then, right? Because this distance is equal to this distance. Midpoint of the hypotenuse here is clearly 1 because the hypotenuse total length was 2, right? So Z1 by 2 lies on mod Z equal to 1, and therefore Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 by 3 also lies on mod Z equal to 1, because both of them are actually the same point. So you get basically options B as well as option C, because we realize that all three triangles OPQ, ORP, and PQR have the same circumcircle, and their circumcenter is basically the midpoint of OP, right? Which is also the centroid of triangle PQR, since PQR was equilateral. So far we have figured out three options. Now we also know that Z1 by 2 is equal to Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 by 3, right? Okay. So, okay, that doesn't help us with the option A. So if you think about option A, so far I know that Z1 lies on mod Z equals 2. So mod Z1 is equal to 2. We also know that mod Z2 is equal to 1 and mod Z3 is equal to 1. So from here we can say that mod Z1 square is 4, which implies that Z1 conjugate is 4. So 4 by Z1 conjugate is the same as Z1, right? And 4 by Z1 is the same as Z1 conjugate. We know this. Similarly, we can say that Z2 is equal to 1 by Z2 conjugate. And also you can say Z2 conjugate is 1 by Z2. And same thing for Z3 also, right? So in option A, we have the expression 4 by Z1 plus 4 by Z2 plus 1 by Z2 plus 1 by Z3. And that basically is the same as 4 by Z1 is Z1 conjugate, 1 by Z2 is Z2 conjugate, 1 by Z3 is Z3 conjugate. And the other factor there was 4 by Z1 conjugate plus 1 by Z2 conjugate plus 1 by Z3 conjugate. So that is equivalent to what? That is Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3. So when you multiply these two together, you are multiplying Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 and Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 whole conjugate, which is the same thing as mod of Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 whole square. Now, if you think about it, we have already established that mod of Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 by 3 is equal to 1 because Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 by 3 lies on the curves mod Z equals 1. So that means mod of Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 is equal to 3. So the square of that will be equal to 9. So option A is also correct. So this question basically boils down to understanding the geometry of the figure. From an outer circle, two tangents are drawn to the inner circle, and we are trying to analyze what happens about the triangles, where are the circumcenters, centroids, and so on. Right? So it is a geometry question actually. Okay, that's all for this one. Let's look at the next one. The third question is this one. If 1 by a plus w plus 1 by b plus w plus 1 by c plus w is equal to 2 by w and 1 by a plus w square plus 1 by b plus w square plus 1 by c plus w square plus 1 by d plus w square is equal to 2 by w square. Here w and w square are cube roots of unity. Cube roots of unity. What we have to find are three things: a plus b plus c plus d. Then we have to find ABC plus ABD plus ACD plus BCD. And finally, we have to find 1 by A plus 1 plus 1 by B plus 1 plus 1 by C plus 1 plus 1 by D plus 1. Okay. So we have been given two conditions which are very symmetrical. They look like a similar type of condition except W is and W square have been exchanged, right? So what we can say is we can construct an equation. Let's say we have an equation like this. Plus 1 by d plus x is equal to 2 by x. We can say that x is equal to w and x is equal to w square satisfies the equations. Satisfies the equations. So we are saying that w and w square are roots of this equation, right? So first job here is to simplify the equation and convert it to a form which we can use. So you just have to cross multiply everywhere with multiply both sides by take the LCM and cross multiply, right? So you'll get something like b plus x, c plus x, d plus x, plus a plus x, c plus x, d plus x, plus a plus x, b plus x, d plus x, and finally a plus x, b plus x, c plus x. This whole thing multiplied by x is equal to twice of a plus x, b plus x, c plus x, d plus x. This is my expression, right? Now you have to simplify any one of this and see the pattern of how you multiply and all. I just want a final equation in x, okay? So I will leave the simplification to you. It will come out like this. The equation will come out like this. 2x power 4 plus a plus b plus c plus d x cube minus abc plus abd plus acd plus bcd x x minus 2abc 2abcd equal to 0. Basically, the x square term gets cancelled here, and you have x power 4 term, x cube term, x term, and constant term. And after simplification, this should be what you get. And we know that x is equal to w and w square are roots for this equation, right? So if I put x is equal to w here, what I end up getting is 2w power 4 is 2w minus here also there is a w, right? So I can say that w common 2 minus summation of abc. This summation of abc represents the four subs here, right? So I'm just using shorthand summation for that. So w times 2 minus summation abc plus summation a, w cube became 1. So summation a minus 2abcd equal to 0. This is my first equation. And now I will put x is equal to w square here. And if you do that, this will become w power 8, which is same as w square. So you can take w square common. Again, you will get 2 minus summation abc plus you get summation a, which is a plus b plus c plus d minus 2abcd equals 0. This is my second equation. So the equations are very similar, except here there is a w and here there is a w square. So what we'll do is we'll subtract 1 minus 2 in order to cancel out this stuff, right, which is common. So when you do 1 minus 2, you end up getting 2 minus summation abc w minus w square equals 0. And since w is not equal to w square, these are two different roots of unity, what we get is summation abc is equal to 2, right? So this basically gives us option B. Summation ABC is the sum of the four terms ABC plus ABD plus ACD plus BCD, and that is equal to 2. So that gives us option B. Now what we will do is we'll use this information in the original equation here, and if you put summation ABC is 2, you get this factor is whole 0. So from there we deduce that summation A is equal to 2ABCD, right? So we also get now that A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 2ABCD, which is basically option A for us. So the first part of the question and the second part of the question are done. The third part of the question is finding the value of 1 by A plus 1, 1 by B plus 1, plus 1 by C plus 1, and plus 1 by D plus 1, right? But before we do that, we will simplify this equation a little bit. This equation will start looking like what for us? We can write it like this. Now that we know that A plus B plus C plus D is 2ABCD, and summation of ABC for 4 terms is equal to 2, the equation starts looking like the following for us. This is 2x power 4 plus 2abcd x cube minus 2x minus 2abcd equals 0. This is the new equation once we know these two pieces of information, this one and this one. Now, it is obvious from this equation that x is equal to 1 is a root of the equation. That is clearly a root because you'll get 2 plus 2 abcd minus 2 minus 2 abcd, which is 0. So since x is equal to 1 is a root, and this equation, how did we get this equation? The earlier form of this equation was 1 by a plus x plus 1 by b plus x plus 1 by c plus x plus 1 by d plus x is equal to 2 by x, right? This was the original form of the equation. We have deduced everything by starting from here and bringing it into this form. But now we know that x is equal to 1 is a root of this equation. So therefore 1 by a plus 1 plus 1 by b plus 1 plus 1 by c plus 1 plus 1 by d plus 1 must be equal to 2 by 1 or 2, which is the third part of the problem that we needed to find, right? So technically the main point of this question is to figure out what the standard equation looks like. You have to think of it as a theory of equations problem, and then from there we are just applying the basic knowledge that w and w square satisfy the equation. So we can put them in the equation and manipulate the resulting expressions. Okay, so that concludes this problem. We'll be doing more problems in the upcoming sessions. Also, you should know that the JEE at 2025 and JEE 2026 courses are live now. You can register for the course. The classes will begin next week. So don't waste too much time. Just sign up for the course. Go join the WhatsApp groups. The links to the groups have been shared in the previous videos on the channel. Join the group, confirm your registration if you need help for next year's JEE Advanced. So the entire syllabus of maths will be covered. A lot of problem solving will be done, and I will be there to help you along the way. So please join the course, and I'll see you next time.